It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, today's one of those days, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and also hit that notification bell. That way you guys don't miss any of the exciting stuff we have coming up. Okay, guys, so today we are back to talk about Monique Samuels and Candiace Bassett. So I guess what the big hot topic is right now is there any chance for a reconciliation? Is that going to happen? So Monique recently did an interview with The Jam, just pretty much stating that we're not on speaking status, and even when she gets those moments where she's like, okay, we can recover, she feels like Candiace will just immediately go out and do an interview and say something crazy and outlandish, just further proving that she hasn't healed from the whole incident. And just to be fair to Candiace, guys, you know, when you do get dragged across the table and somebody puts their hands on you, not everybody does heal the same. So I just want to put that out there. Candiace might actually need her own kind of time to heal from this. But for Monique, she feels like with Candiace going out there and saying these things out in the blogs and whatever she does say, whether it's an interview or whatever, it's never in a way that paints towards a positive picture for the future of Monique and Candiace. It doesn't look like Candiace wants to move forward with Monique anytime soon. And just to be fair, again, that's Candiace's, she gets to choose that. She has the right to choose whether or not she wants to move forward with Monique, because again, when you put your hands on somebody, it definitely changes the game. What Monique doesn't understand is that she feels like, you know, we've moved on. It's been almost a year. It's been a long time now at this point. Why does she need to continuously go out and talk ugly about me in these interviews? That's Monique's biggest problem. Monique went on to say that it's already a bad situation, but then when she goes out and does this back and forth and she talks ugly about Monique's family, her husband, and her children, and this is where it's not cute. You can't talk about the children, especially when they're so little. It's only making things worse, and you just can't come back from things like that. And to be honest with you guys, again, I'm not Team Monique or Team Candiace, but I honestly feel like these are just like you can't come back from putting your hands on somebody, you also can't talk about somebody's children. So it seems like we have a lot of tit for tat going on here. Monique also feels a certain way about the rest of her castmates, honestly. When it comes to this whole Candiace-Monique brawl, she feels like, you know, honestly, the castmates made it about themselves. Like, it really didn't have to be as big of a deal for Giselle, Robin, and Dr. Wendy, but they took on this storyline and they made it about themselves. Monique goes on to say if they were actually thinking about Candiace and herself, Monique, who the actual incident revolved around, then maybe they would have approached it more like, hey, let's try to piece this together. Let's get these beautiful women together and put them on the right track. And let's be the big sisters in the situation and help them see through it. But honestly, for Monique, she doesn't feel like that has been the process that the rest of the castmates have chosen. And obviously, guys, we know who she's talking about. Again, Giselle, Robin, and Dr. Wendy, because Karen and Ashley, they've been pretty supportive on Monique's side, and Candiace's. Just to be fair, I feel like they've been supportive on both sides. But instead, Monique feels like they went on their high horses and continued to cast judgment, ultimately trying to get Monique exiled from the circle and pushing her out, not even really understanding what her healing process was. Because for Monique, she feels like they didn't care about her healing process. She feels like all the attention was on Candiace because, again, technically, Candiace was the one who was dragged across the table. So immediately, if you're going to try to pick what's right from that situation and who's wrong, you're going to automatically think the person who put their hands on the other person first is wrong. So that's why Monique is not really getting a bone in this situation. And just to be fair, everybody has their own opinion about this. Monique feels like there's healing to be done on both sides, on Candiace's side and her side, and that the rest of the women didn't acknowledge that they were just kind of like, hey, let's get together, let's get in this group, let's have a meeting and get Monique out of this circle. So honestly, she feels like it's been a Monique witch hunt ever since this altercation happened. Now, what I'm curious about is, whose fault is that? is that Monique's fault for putting her hands on Candiace first? Or is it the women's fault now at this point for not trying to help the women see through this altercation? Because guys, in true housewives fashion, we have conflict and resolution. Now, normally we don't have the conflict that gets that physical, but yes, it has happened before. But once it does, there's really not a whole lot of room for resolution. But in this case, do you feel like had the women stayed out of it, that Candiace and Monique would have actually been able to work things out? Or do you feel like, no, Candiace would have ran with this and kind of made sure she never has to deal with Monique again, only because this was really violating to her? I'm curious. Now, guys, we know that they just did the reunion, and we know, obviously, the tidbits of Karen and Giselle were the ones that were sitting by Andy because they don't want to put this whole fight at the forefront. I'm sure that's not how they want to start the reunion. But Andy said it was a good one, meaning I'm sure that all of this stuff came to the surface. And again, guys, from what I've heard, we still don't have any sort of resolution. We've heard that there's nowhere to go but down from here, that, Candiace would not join the Real Housewives of Potomac if Monique comes back, and Monique says that she's not going anywhere. So we're going to have to see what happens. Again, if you guys saw my video about us losing a potential Real Housewives of Potomac, when I was sitting there talking about which housewives we would lose, I was talking to another Bravo insider, and my point is, it's not about what the person is doing on the camera. It's about everything in their actions building up and adding up over time for what they're doing off camera, whether it's tweets, whether it's, just these careless words coming out, wishing death upon somebody, or whatever the case is. It's everything that adds up off of camera. And then you guys have to remember that Bravo is still a business. These networks are still businesses, and they have to maintain their face. They have to show that, if somebody acts out, that they will step up to the plate and hold them accountable. They've done it with so many other franchises, and I don't see Real Housewives of Potomac being any different, but we shall see. Only 2021 can tell. The good thing, though, for Monique is that she still has Ashley and Karen. We know that Ashley and Karen end up getting faced with Candiace at the finale. We know that there's a little bit of an altercation there, but they've stuck right there next to Monique's side, And Monique, honestly, like Ashley said, Monique stood up for Ashley and Michael when they had the whole butt grabbing incident that was at Monique's house, whether the cameras were off or whether they were on. That footage never came to life. And then also when Ashley wanted to share that her and Michael had somewhat of an open relationship. Not somewhat, it was an open relationship. She told Monique a long time ago, and that information never came out. So Ashley feels like she has some sort of allegiance to Monique, and that makes it very obvious. But just to be fair also to Ashley, Monique wasn't waving a knife around in Ashley's face, and that makes a big difference too. When Ashley goes on to write this letter for Monique on her behalf, just stating that she's had her own problems with Candiace. Obviously, that didn't go over well. The other women who want Monique out of the group immediately said, so you're doing a character assassination on Candiace on behalf of Monique? And that's not what I got from that at all. I don't know if that's what you guys got from that, but it just seems like she's trying to help a friend, especially when another friend is taking it all the way to the extreme, really trying to bury her. Because in all fairness, if Candiace was trying to take it all the way to the extreme and try to bury Monique for trying to grab her across the table, then there's a whole Bravo community that could hold Candiace responsible for her tweets, her careless words, and so many other actions on her behalf. So honestly, how far does Candiace really want to take that? I think this goes back to the saying, you can't throw stones when your house is glass too. And guys, I'm Switzerland. I don't pick a side. I'm not on the cast of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I don't get paid to pick a side, so I don't care. I'm just saying both sides seem to be a little bit wrong in their own right, if you know what I mean. But though when Monique was asked about Karen's marriage with Ray Huger, she said that they came on to a live podcast way back in 2019, a year ago. I know it seems like so long ago, especially because 2020 has been such a rut. But no, way back in 2019, they came on and did a Not for Lazy Moms podcast called The Honeymoon Phase is Over. Monique went on to say that Ray really elaborated on the place that they are in their marriage. And, all Ray was trying to say this whole season, and a lot of people pick this apart for just we're trying to pre-produce a storyline and give Karen something to talk about. But Monique is saying, no, sometimes people get to this place in their marriage. And what Ray was saying at the Not for Lazy Moms podcast was, listen, I love my wife, but sometimes that in-love bubbly feeling, it doesn't always exist. It's not always there. It's not always sitting with me. And I think that, I can agree with Monique and Karen. Listen, I've only been in a relationship for 7 years. I'm not married, but I feel like those feelings do have to come and go a little bit. You're not going to be with somebody for 20, 30, 40 years and every day wake up with that bubbly feeling. I'm just telling you guys, that's not a bubbly feeling of love. That's probably just gas. So just get it checked out. With that being said, guys, I'm so excited for the finale and also the reunion because Andy Cohen has teased that it's going to be really good. I know Andy Cohen doesn't disappoint, and I also know that the Real Housewives of Potomac do not disappoint. I can't wait to see what goes down. I love the seating arrangement, and obviously this is going to be very dramatic. It was 11 hours of filming, and Andy Cohen even said at the end, like, ah! So that's when you know it's going to be a good one. And thank God it's not a Zoom one. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, comment on this video because I asked you a few questions, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.